Hey there, curious minds. Welcome to the channel, where strange stories, chilling mysteries, and forgotten legends come back to life. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, tap the notification bell, and join our growing community of truth seekers and story lovers. And if you've been with us for a while, you know what's coming. A story that's going to give you chills, maybe even change the way you look at the world. Tonight, I want to take you deep into the icy wilderness of northern Canada, to a place so remote, so quiet, that most people never even knew it existed, until an entire village vanished without a trace. Let's start by painting a picture of the world, back in the early 1930s. No smartphones, no internet, just vast, untouched wilderness, especially in Canada's Northwest Territories, where temperatures often drop below minus 30 degrees Celsius in the winter. Tucked away in this frozen land, near the edge of a long, icy body of water called Anjikuni Lake, there was a small Inuit settlement. It wasn't a big village, maybe 25 to 30 people. Families, elders, children. They lived in igloos and wood frame huts, dressed in animal skins, cooked over open fires, and hunted caribou and fish to survive. Life was hard, but these people were strong. They had lived there for generations, perfectly in tune with the land, the seasons, and the stars. They were not isolated in the way you might think. Fur traders and trappers would pass through, sometimes stopping for rest, supplies, or a warm meal. And that's where our story begins, with a man named Joe LaBelle. Joe LaBelle was an experienced fur trapper, well known among local traders. He had traveled through the north for years, and he was familiar with the Inuit village at Anjikuni Lake. On one bitterly cold day in November 1930, Joe was making his usual rounds when he decided to stop by the village. He was tired, hungry, cold to the bone, and he knew the villagers would welcome him. They always did. But this time, something was different. He approached the village, and it was silent. Too silent. No children laughing, no dogs barking, no firewood being chopped. Just the sound of the wind, whistling through the snow-covered trees. Joe walked into the village cautiously. He called out. No answer. He checked one hut, then another, then another. Inside, he saw half-cooked food still hanging over the fire, clothes neatly folded, weapons, spears, and rifles, still resting in their usual places. But no people. It was like everyone had vanished in the middle of their daily life. Outside, the sled dogs had frozen to death, still tied up. That shocked Joe. These dogs were everything to the Inuit. Their survival depended on them. They would never just leave them to starve. The mystery grew darker. Joe searched for signs of a struggle. None. No footprints leading away, no broken doors, no signs of panic or violence. He spent the night in one of the huts, too scared to travel at night. He said the silence was unbearable, the kind that feels heavy. The next morning, he raced out of the village and made his way to the nearest telegraph station. When he finally reached the RCMP, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, they were skeptical at first. But when they reached the village days later, they were just as baffled. Everything was just as Joe had described. Even more disturbing, the police found the graves in the cemetery had been dug up. Some coffins were empty. Why would anyone do that? Especially in the middle of winter. And then came reports from other trappers in the area. One man claimed he had seen a large, glowing object in the sky, flying low over the trees, making no sound. Another said he heard strange, high-pitched noises in the night, like whispers carried by the wind. Suddenly, people were whispering about UFOs, about government secrets, about ancient spirits or curses. Theories spread like wildfire. Over the years, many theories have tried to explain what happened. Some say it was a mass migration, but that doesn't explain the untouched food, the dead dogs, or the fact that no tracks were ever found in the snow. Others suggest it was a disease outbreak, but there were no bodies. No signs of struggle. No one leaves everything behind, especially their weapons and dogs, unless something truly bizarre happened. Then, there are the UFO believers. They claim the villagers were abducted by an alien craft. After all, this was one of the first documented mass disappearances in North American history, with potential ties to aerial phenomena. Stranger still, the official RCMP report disappeared. Some say it never existed. Others claim it was covered up to avoid public panic. So, the mystery only deepened. Let's take a step back and really think about this. Imagine, you live your whole life in a small, close-knit community. You know everyone. You share meals, stories, traditions. Then, one day, in the middle of your normal routine, something so terrifying happens that you either vanish willingly or are taken. And decades later, no one knows what happened to you. No closure, no graves, just silence. This is not just a ghost story. It's a real historical event, documented, investigated, forgotten. And that is what makes it so haunting. The world is full of mysteries like this. Some are buried under snow. Others are buried in forgotten files or inside government vaults. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button, share it with someone who loves mysteries, and leave a comment below with your theory. Do you believe the villagers were abducted? Did they vanish into another dimension? Or was this just a tale exaggerated by fear and time? Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more deep dive stories like this every week. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.